All right, I'm going to give a quick demo on Lightning Prisms and this cool Docker environment that Farscapian and I have gotten set up. So this project started at the Bitcoin++ hackathon with a team of 7 developers, and it was a really well-rounded team and a great experience for me being able to take everyone's unique skills and come together in such a short amount of time to create this really cool project. So the idea came from Dergigi. Him and Mr. Cucks came up with this idea of lightning prisms. So thank you to them. And I was mostly involved on the back end side of things, but the front end guys made this really nice app for creating and controlling prisms. So you can connect directly to your C Lightning node, and all of this connection information can be found in this blog post that Farscapian made. I'll leave a link to that in the description. But it should all just be hard-coded in there, so you could just connect and start creating prisms. So you can see here's just some random prisms that have been created, and this is the Bolt 12 offer. So a little bit about our architecture here. We've got 5 nodes running for our test environment. So we've got Alice, Bob, Carol, Dave, and Aaron indexed from 0 to 4. In this case, Bob is the Uncle Jim, or I guess Uncle Bob, and he creates the prism, Alice picks the prism, and then that gets split out to the other 3. So I ran this script. It takes a while, so I already ran it. But all you got to do is run up.sh with this run channels flag. The run channels flag just makes sure that you get the correct prism layout so that we can test it. So you can see we just go through, we make sure all of the CLN nodes are funded, make sure, first we start by funding our Bitcoin node. We bootstrap our network by just connecting each node to 3 other nodes. And ultimately we set up our prism template. So Alice opens a channel to Bob so that she can pay him, and then Bob, it opens a channel to Carol, Dave, and Aaron. So I created this script to quickly create prisms, but it is an RPC method, so you could use Lightning CLI create prism. So we end up getting this Bolt 12 offer. Just to make sure it worked, we will do Lightning CLI and set the ID to 1, because remember, Bob is ID 1, and he's the one that created the prism. And we'll do list prisms. So Bob created this, and you can see the splits 1, 5, and 2. Those end up getting normalized to percentages and then split out based on those percentages. So what we will do is first, let's just check to make sure Bob has no payments, meaning he hasn't paid anyone yet, because we just set up this whole network. So Bob's pays is an empty array. Now, to actually pay this prism, the way that Bolt 12 works is we go to Alice's node, and she is going to have to fetch an invoice from Bob. So she does fetch invoice, the Bolt 12, and the amount of millisatoshis. Bob will return an invoice to Alice. Then Alice can pay this invoice. If all goes well, we should get a status of complete. And so now Alice paid Bob, and because this Bolt 12 represented a prism that was supposed to be paid out to 3 other nodes, we should be able to check Bob's payments and see that he paid these 3, Carol, Dave, and Aaron. And you can see the amount that he sent reflects those splits that we had. So it's in millisatoshis, but this amount was sent to Carol, and Carol's split was 1, and Dave's split was 5, so he gets significantly more. And then Aaron's split was 2, so she gets in between Carol and Dave. So that's the basic functionality of Lightning Prisms that we have set up. They are a CLN plugin, which means that you have to add that plugin to your CLN node, and then you become sort of that Uncle Jim that has to host these prisms and you're responsible for maintaining liquidity to make sure that you can pay out to all of the recipients of Prisms. What we want to add in the future is, right now, just for sake of easiness, we've just added we pay by node pub key and then key send, but ultimately these should be bolt 12s. The problem is that bolt 12 isn't standard yet. It's just in the experimental phases. So if you want to say pay, you can turn on bolt 12 for CLN nodes, but if you wanted to pay an LND node, it would be difficult if this was bolt 12. So right now it's just node pub keys, but probably the default will end up being bolt 12, and then if you want to set a node pub key. Also, you should be able to update Prisms and maintain this same bolt 12 offer. So you could create this Prism, and this QR code will always represent the same Prism. And so you can have this, leave it on your website, and you don't have to worry about changing it. But we can change all of the Prism metadata. So if, say, Carol disappears, we can remove her from the Prism, or we can update the splits, or whatever. So yeah, this has been a great project. There's still a lot more work to be done, and thanks to everyone on the team that's been helping out a lot. Farscapian's been teaching me a lot about Docker and how to get all of this set up the way that it is. So yeah.